All right, good morning, or good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for being here on this beautiful August day. We're going to have a few announcements here before we start our Faith Forum meeting at 1:30. So we got three parts to our little press briefing here. The first is I am delighted to announce that Kendall Boyd has been named as our new director of the Louisville Metro Human Relations Commission. Kendall, congratulations. Kendall's done an outstanding job for the city and our Human Resources Department. He's well regarded, highly respected within Metro and outside of Metro as well. He will be taking over the position for the late Carolyn Miller Cooper, whom of course we all loved and adored, and she left us way too soon. And Kendall is uniquely prepared to really help take us to the next level with the important work of the Human Relations Commission, which is one of our outside-facing agencies that ensures that equity is supported and promoted within the community, so that we make sure that everybody has a fair and equitable shot to move forward in our community, which obviously is one of the values that we hold dear. So Kendall, could you share a few words with us? Kendall Boyd.
Good afternoon. As Mayor Fisher indicated, my name is Kendall Boyd, the new Director of Human Relations Commission, and I'm extremely pleased with this opportunity, and I'm super excited. I know Carolyn's shoes are very big to fill, so I'm going to do my very best to keep the momentum going. If you just pardon me for 1 second, I've got a brief statement. I'm super excited for this great opportunity. I'm looking forward to helping Louisville Metro community in eradicating discrimination, bias, and making Louisville more equitable and just city. With Mayor Fisher's leadership and focus on being a compassionate city, I'm confident that together we can make great strides in moving our community forward. So thank you very much. God bless you.
Well, that was short and sweet. I appreciate that. A lot of us have worked with people before that, you know, kind of have the heart for the work and the head for the work, and it's great when that kind of combination comes together so that we can achieve results and everybody feels like they're moving forward together. And Kendall has that both from his experience here and then his longtime position on the bar as well, a great attorney here in town. So great job. Okay, secondly, before we get into the Be the One, I just wanted to announce that during this last legislative session in Frankfurt, you might recall that that was about the time that the Police Explorer issue was coming to light. And as we were learning more about that, we saw a loophole in the law that did not mandate notification of a state agency if suspected abuse of a child or a minor was taking place by an employee of Metro. So we brought that to the attention of the legislature, not just on concern from Louisville Metro, but all of the counties in Kentucky as well. They did not have the time to act on that this last legislative session. So we put in place an internal policy to do that, and then the week before last, the Metro Council put that into ordinance as well. So I just wanted to communicate broadly to the public on that, and that's how good process is supposed to work. We don't have to wait for the state to do this, but we can do it together in partnership here, in this case with the council. I want to recognize Barbara Sexton Smith, who's here with us, representing District 4. Thank you for all the good work that you do, so the public can know. In the case of the Explorer case, the Commonwealth attorney was notified, so that's good. It wasn't a problem here, but we think it should be part of law as well. So thank you, Councilwoman, on behalf of the council for making this happen, and that has been signed into law. So thank you. Okay, all right, let's talk about the meeting we've got coming up here at 1:30 and kind of the expansion of the work that we're doing in the city to make sure that every neighborhood can be a safe neighborhood and a healthy neighborhood as well. Today at 1:30 we're having a meeting of our Faith Forum, so I especially want to thank the faith community leaders for being here with us today. You all are uniquely positioned to help leverage both the message and the actions for a safe and healthy city, city of compassion as well. in a place where every person in every neighborhood has the opportunity to reach their potential. That's how we define compassion here in our city. We respect everybody so that their human potential can flourish. And the fact is, none of us control the world that we're born into, and some of us have a lot more challenges than others, but it's up to all of us to recognize that we're in this together and to kind of push us forward so everybody can realize that brilliance that they have within them. And I think that we all agree that regardless of where you live, whether it's Russell or Smoketown or St. Matthews or Shively, everybody should be able to achieve what they want to achieve. Because what we see time and time again is for young people, and particularly if they have a loving adult in their life, somebody that cares about them and gives them some expectations and gives them some structure and gives them some accountability, they can succeed. And so often we can complain, or you hear people complain about the way it is. But if you're in this office, or if in your all's offices as faith leaders, I say we are in the reality business. You know, we deal with the world the way it is. And what comes in our doors, or when we go in the doors of our congregants or our citizens, we have to meet them for where they're at. And sometimes they may not be where they want to be at, but our mission and really our honor, whether you're an elected official or a faith leader, is to be able to be there for them in those times and help them reach their potential. And it's wonderfully gratifying to be in a position to do that, whether you're a public official or a faith leader in our community. So the question for all of us is, how can we do more? How can we do more? We know that we're living in a time in our country right now where 2/3 of our cities are seeing an increase in homicides. Unfortunately, Louisville is part of that. There's a national epidemic going on right now with the opioid crisis, the heroin crisis. It's leading to a bigger drug market, leading to more addiction, leading to people fighting illegally over the size of who's going to distribute illegal narcotics. They don't take those issues to court. They settle them on the streets. And about 2/3 of our homicides are drug related. And we just know that's part of life. So we got to work on that as well. So the question is, how do we leverage our faith community to do that? And that's why we hold faith forums where our leaders come from throughout the city and talk about our challenges and talk about our plans as well. So we're going to start one of those at 1:30, and we'll talk a little bit more about how our faith leaders can be part of our Be the One initiative, which is part of our 6-pillar violence plan. If you have a challenge in your church, in your mosque, in your temple, in your business, in your city government, it is fair for your constituents to say, okay, what's the plan? And if you don't have a plan, then I think you open yourself to criticism. Phase 2 of that is, okay, we got a plan, you got to adjust, you got to improve. That should be part of the plan. But then the third part of it should be a call to action. Because a lot of people ask me, how can I help? So it's incumbent upon whomever is seen as the owner of a challenge for the community that there's that part of the plan as well on how people can help. So that's what part of today's all about. And we're announcing a new effort we're making as part of the Be the One initiative to connect even better with our community's faith leaders. And that's an online directory where leaders of our churches, temples, mosque, and faith-based nonprofits can sign up on a shared platform to describe their services, resources, and community efforts. There is so many media channels on how you can get news these days, but it's amazing how little people know about what's available in the community as well. And that's what this online resource is going to help us for, where people will reach out to that, and they'll be able to directly find services and by geography or by service or whatever it might be, so they know where they can go to get help. And it's just a reality that a lot of us need help from time to time. So as you'll see here in a minute, this directory provides metro agencies with the updated list of the faith-based groups' contact information, including things like the size of their sanctuaries, their meeting rooms, willingness to share those spaces for some of the meetings we hold in various neighborhoods. And it's going to be a great resource for all of us to connect even better. Pastor Vincent James, who's on our Safe and Healthy Neighborhoods teams, also runs the Interdenominational Coalition Ministry, will be coming up and running us through the forum here in a minute. But I want to close with an invitation to all the faith leaders in our city and those that are gathered here that please learn more about the directory. We need you. When you go into any of the good books, of any of the religions. What they all have in common is about doing work outside of the walls of wherever you gather to worship, so that we can all lift each other up. And at the end of the day, as we all know, it's all about kind of the golden rule, regardless of what language it's in or what book it comes from. And so I encourage all of our faith leaders to take their word, take their mission out into the streets to help people and help them reach their potential, and through that we will be an even greater city. So please join us as we tackle the challenges that we have here in our community. We don't need solo voices out crying in the wilderness. We need a choir to help pull this together. We've got a great plan. The plan has been validated by people all over the country. And what we need is we just need people to get behind the plan and help. So we'll be talking about more of that at 1:30, both the plan itself and then the specific call to action behind that. And if we see how we can improve the plan, we will improve the plan, just like we always have. But we get so much more done together, as we all know, when we're working together, as opposed to pointing fingers or casting blame without any plan. You're just being critical. And we've all seen that, as we've all been around long enough to know that doesn't work in life. So our citizens deserve for us, and our congregants, parishioners deserve for us to have a plan, work together, get after it, and report back to them. And for all of us to be part of it, be the one, is what we talk about. When somebody complains about something, I assume they want to help. And so what this is all about is helping us. So I thank all of our faith leaders for being here and being part of the solution. Now I'd like to ask Pastor James to come up and give you all a quick look at the online directory. Pastor Vincent James. Thanks, Pastor.
Thank you, Mayor Fisher. It indeed is an honor to be here to be able to share with you all what I believe is going to be a game changer as it relates to us being able to connect with the faith community across this entire city. One of the things I have opportunity to be able to do, among many things, is I'm a national trainer for the Department of Justice, and going into cities to look at various areas of how we can improve, and basically sharing our plan, sharing the work that we're doing here in this city. And in sharing this information about our faith directory, it's the first of its kind. It's its only kind. The way that we put it together, the technology that's behind it, and it came together as a result of two people struggling with trying to identify how can we get in contact with all the faith community. Althea Jackson, who works in the mayor's office, as well as myself, were working at two ends, and we came together and said, let's figure this out. We got connected with our IT department and began hashing out a way in which we can begin to build something that can affect the entire city, that how we can communicate better. Because one of the things that happens when we see the challenges of things that happen in the community is that only a part of the community knows about certain things that are happening. We have an opportunity with this database to be able to inform the entire community, but not only that, have an opportunity to begin to build synergy, how we can work more effectively together. And as we go through the database, we're going to be able to begin to see how that happens. And so what you can see on the screen is taken from the Metro government website, in which you could go in and several different ways you can click on. And I know all of you may have received this card. When you came in, you can actually go to the link directly and connect on to the faith section. And when you connect onto the faith section, there's an opportunity for you to begin to look at, to participate in the faith directory. And this is what we're asking all houses of faith to participate in. Once you are in the faith directory, you have an opportunity at that point to begin entering information. It's a real simple opportunity for you to be able to enter your church's name, your organization or type of place of worship. And when you identify as a place of worship, as a church, it continues to go down, and you're able to begin to look at the point of contact, the persons in terms of which you have an opportunity to begin to contact individuals, as well as once you get that contact information, you're able to enter in the email address and begin looking at the primary point of contact, because we know that pastors are very busy, and many times they're not the primary point of contact. So we ask the question, are you the primary point of contact? If no, then we also have the information where we're able to get that information from the pastors themselves. And so what this gives us a unique opportunity to be able to do is to directly connect with the pastors, as well as connect with that point of contact and sharing information to the congregants. As we look at that information, entering all that information into the system, we also are able to assess and asking the questions in terms of mailing address, entering the estimated seating capacity, what the reason and importance of this seating capacity, opportunities to be able to meet in various places in various parts of the community. A lot of times we're looking for opportunities for meetings, organizations, community-based organizations are looking for places to meet in various parts of our city, and not knowing if a place of worship or a community-based organization has the seating capacity or has the space or room. So you have an opportunity to be able to look at that and to be able to enter that information, to be able to participate in that. So as you enter that information in, asking the question, would you be interested in receiving information about low-cost internet services to share with people that you serve? That's an opportunity for us to begin to work as we look at how do we build even equity in the digital divide. How can we spread that across our community so everyone has access to the internet? And we have opportunities to be able to partner with other organizations to be able to even make that happen. And then also addressing that question, how does your organization communicate with people you serve? Via newsletter, email, website, word of mouth, or social media. And the next question would be, would you be interested in sharing this information about Louisville Metro program or services? And so what that is an opportunity, what I've discovered since I've been working in the Office of Safe and Healthy Neighborhoods is that the city offers a whole lot of programs that the community doesn't know about. And it's listed, it's posted, but some kind of way, as Mayor Fisher talked about, that just disconnecting the communication. Here's a way, another opportunity and another way that we can connect that information and those resources to the houses of faith across the city to be able to establish that. And then once you complete the survey, then you have the submission date in which you entered it. But let me share with you the power in terms of what this technology will be able to do. One of the things that we are looking at and what we have the capacity to be able to do in working with LMPD, for instance, utilizing the GIS technology, we're able to look at hotspots in communities and identify those houses of faith around those hotspots, around those areas where houses of faith can begin to engage. But not only that, being able to look at all of the different services that various houses of faith offer. Here's something, an opportunity to begin to look at. For instance, in Parkland, there are 18 church houses of faith in Parkland, in that community in itself. If you think about 7 of these houses of faith have after-school programs. And when you think about 7 after-school programs, which may constitute 6 to 5 students in each one of them, what do you think about the power and the ability to be able to coordinate efforts in terms of where all of those houses of faith come together and say, let's have one effort in terms of an after-school program and build capacity within that and begin to look for resources in terms of how we can join those. That's just one example of many ways that we'll be able to utilize the that we have. Being able to identify churches in your community. Many times you may want to know what's happening in my community, what's going on, what kinds of ministry opportunities that we could possibly partner with during the summer. We know this month, August, we're getting ready to go back to school. I can't tell you how many houses of faith are having back to school programs. What would be a powerful way if we can get that information, knowing those services that you're offering, and to be able to share that abroad, because maybe your church doesn't have the capacity to be able to offer that, where you can partner with another church, another house of faith, to begin to offer those kinds of opportunities. So the opportunities are limitless. This is first of its kind to be able to be utilized in the capacity in which we're going to be utilizing it. We want to encourage you to participate. That's the main thing. The success is going to be how we get the houses of faith to communicate, to participate in signing up to be the one to make that difference. Because when you do that, you're helping the city, you're helping our community, you're engaging in an opportunity to be able to see ways in which we can see change really happen. Because change can happen when you and I begin to work together. We can't work in isolation anymore. We have to work in a collaborative effort. And as we collaborate together and work together, we'll see success together. And that's what I'm excited about, being able to share this information with you today, to be able to share this database. I want to encourage you to share with other houses of faith, other members that you know, that you represent, other people, community-based organizations that you know that can sign up in terms of being able to share their information. We'll be able to house that information and then being able to get that information out and connect with you. One of my roles as a faith-based liaison is being able to connect the faith community with government and seeing how that works. One of the things I'm finding out in doing this training across the country is that many cities are not working very well. One of the things I'm excited about in this city is that we have a national model of the faith engagement and how important it is. And we have a mayor that has a vision of understanding the need for the faith community to be deeply engaged in the process, which we're going to be talking a little bit about in the Mayor's Faith Forum coming up at 1:30. So I want to thank you for your time and being here this morning and sharing with us in this opportunity to be able to engage together, to be able to look at ways in which we can partner more effectively and to be able to make a difference in this city. And I want to thank all of those who helped to put this together. We also had a focus group that participated. You gave some invaluable feedback for us to be able to be to have a successful experience. So thank you, Mayor Fisher.
All right, thank you, Rev. Appreciate that. So it's all about us trying to connect more effectively within our houses of worship and between our houses of worship as well, or connect within our own Metro Council districts. Councilwoman Barbara Sexton Smith just gave me the example that she's using in her community about just getting connected within the community, just like basic things, knowing who your neighbors are, making sure we're looking in after each other. There's a lot of ways that we can connect just at that level and then in the churches as well. So thank you for that. I want to thank the fabulous Althea Jackson for helping us pull this together. Althea's been a real inspiration for a lot of us here at Metro. She's going to be retiring at the end of August, which we're sad about. I mean, she started here as a child, but she's put in all the years where you can reach your full pension. But what she's done in the last 6 years here has been incredible, where she always wanted to get her college degree. Didn't have it, always kind of said, you know, Mayor, I kind of kicked myself for not doing it. But 6 years ago, she said, you know what, I'm going to do this thing. And she took advantage of the city's tuition reimbursement program, worked another job outside of this, and just graduated about 2 months ago with her college degree. So you're our hero. Thank you, Althea. Really appreciate you. And then closing, too, I want to recognize Rashad Abdul Rahman right here. Rashad is our Director for Office of Safe and Healthy Neighborhoods, and we'll be hearing from him in a second. All right? So any questions here? Yes, sir. Lawrence.
Question also, Patrick can answer this question as well. Just give me a big picture of how this fits in and how you think this will help impact the violence in our community. Just directly.
Yeah, I'll start. Just there's so many people doing so many good things, but there's still people dropping through the cracks because they don't know what's going on. So what we find, and you see it, Lawrence, in the media world, is it's just hard to get your message through. And so this is just another one of our efforts to make sure that we've got this repository where people can go to. And then if we have about 400 members or so that we send out Faith Forum notices to, that they start scaling the messages through their pulpits and through their community bulletins as well. Ref?
And that's the great question. I think another thing to add to that is being able to have the capacity to be able to communicate specifically what kinds of things are really happening in neighborhoods. When we talk about the overall comprehensive plan, that we had 13 goals and 42 initiatives, this is one of the initiatives of Goal 4 in terms of building and developing a faith-based violence reduction system. And so this effort, in terms of with the database, gives us that capacity to be able to reach out and target specific neighborhoods, target specific communities, to be able to share information, to gather clergy in particular areas. For instance, if something happens, a homicide takes place, and they need services in that community, we immediately can be able to go to our database and identify those houses of worship and those faith leaders in those areas to begin to provide services for those families, for the community. And heretofore, we haven't had that capacity to be able to do that. This helps to build that in even more capacity.
So one of the things to keep in mind as well is, we've been building out this plan since 2012, right? So when you look at a lot of other cities around the country who are doing this work and who are engaged in best practice and models, we know that faith-based engagement is key to that. When we think about violence as a public health issue, we know that there is really this socio-ecological model where we have to be impacting different layers. And one of those is community engagement. So we know that churches, faith leaders, other houses of faith, mosques, temples, etc., are really positioned well for some of that societal community level change that has to happen, so that we're building additional protective factors around young people and families, so that we're effectively reducing violence.
Pastor James, do you have any numbers, or do you have a goal as far as the number of faith-based places of worship that you want to see sign up?
We currently have over 900 in our current database, but a lot of the information is not accurate. Some of the pastors have changed. It's been dated information. So our goal is to impact the entire city. So that's our goal. We're going after the gusto. We want it all. Because we know that the more people that we get able to get engaged and get involved, more success, because it's not just a section of town that this impacts, and violence impacts the entire city. So it's the entire community of Metro Louisville that has to be engaged. So that's the entire faith community being engaged.
Okay, well, we'd like to thank the media for coming here. We'll take about a 5-minute break or so, and then we'll start our faith forum. Thanks, everybody.